I don't even know when it started. I wish I could point to one fight, one argument, one moment and say that's where my marriage broke. But it didn't break loudly. It didn't explode. It faded slowly. Now I'm married and I'm still the loneliest woman I know. My husband is in the house. His shoes are by the door. His voice fills the rooms. Sometimes he laughs at his phone. Sometimes he sleeps peacefully beside me. And yet almost every night I cry alone. Not the loud kind of crying. Not the kind that gets noticed. The quiet kind. The kind where you press your face into the pillow so no one hears you. The kind where your chest hurts, but you don't even know how to explain the pain anymore. This is what people don't talk about when they talk about an unhappy marriage. They think loneliness only happens when you're single. They don't talk about being a lonely wife. They don't talk about emotional neglect in marriage. They don't talk about crying alone in marriage while your husband is right there. Because how do you explain that you feel abandoned while still married? During the day I function. I cook. I clean. I take care of what needs to be taken care of. I smile when I have to. I play my role. From the outside my life looks normal. People would say I should be grateful. They'd say at least he comes home. At least he's not cheating. At least you're married. But none of them see the nights. They don't see me lying beside a man who no longer reaches for me. They don't see me staring at the ceiling, wondering how two people can be this close physically and still feel so far apart emotionally. My husband isn't violent. He isn't cruel. He's just emotionally unavailable. And that kind of absence hurts in a way that's hard to explain. I remember when I used to talk. I used to explain how I felt. I used to say I was lonely. I used to say I needed affection. I used to say I felt unseen. I thought communication would fix it. That's what everyone says. Just communicate. So I did. I explained myself until my throat hurt. Until my eyes were swollen from crying. Until my words started sounding like complaints even to me. And slowly I realized something painful. He heard me but nothing changed. He listened but life stayed the same. He nodded and the distance remained. That's when something inside me started to break. Because rejection hurts more when it's quiet. People think a neglected wife becomes angry. But before the anger there's sadness. Deep sadness. The kind that lives in your chest all day and only comes out at night. I cry at night because that's when the pretending stops. During the day I tell myself I'm strong. I tell myself it's not that bad. I tell myself other women have it worse. But at night when the house is quiet, the truth shows up. I miss being held. I miss being wanted. I miss feeling chosen. Not tolerated. Not managed. Chosen. There's a special kind of pain in a marriage without love. A marriage where duty replaces desire. Where routine replaces romance. Where silence replaces intimacy. I never imagined my marriage would feel like this. Sometimes I wonder if something is wrong with me. Am I asking for too much? Am I too emotional? Am I needy? I replay conversations in my head trying to figure out where I went wrong. But deep down I know this isn't about being needy. It's about being emotionally starved. A wife shouldn't have to beg for affection. A wife shouldn't feel like a burden for wanting closeness. A wife shouldn't feel guilty for wanting love from her own husband. And yet here I am learning how to shrink myself to keep the peace. I've learned how to swallow my needs. How to lower my expectations. How to tell myself to endure. This is how emotional abandonment in marriage happens. Not with shouting. Not with cheating. But with neglect. I stopped talking as much. Not because I had nothing to say, but because it hurt too much to keep saying it and feel ignored. There's a moment when a woman realizes her words don't matter anymore. And that moment changes her. I started keeping things to myself. My fears. My disappointments. My tears. I didn't want to fight anymore. I didn't want to explain anymore. I didn't want to feel foolish for wanting emotional connection. So I became quiet. Not peaceful. Quiet. And silence in marriage is dangerous. Because it looks calm on the outside, but it's loud on the inside. I still love my husband. That's what makes this harder. If I didn't love him, maybe leaving would be easier. If I hated him, maybe I wouldn't hurt this much. But I love him and I feel lonely with him. That contradiction breaks you slowly. How can love exist without care? How can a home feel so empty? How can a woman be married and still feel emotionally single? Sometimes I imagine what it would feel like to be seen again. To have someone ask how my day really was and actually care. To be touched without asking. To be missed. And then I feel guilty for even thinking about it. Because I'm married. Because I'm supposed to be content. Because good wives endure. I didn't plan to detach emotionally. It just happened. One day I noticed I wasn't trying as hard anymore. I wasn't waiting for attention. I wasn't hoping he'd notice my sadness. I started protecting my heart. Not dramatically. Quietly. I stopped expecting. I stopped hoping. I stopped being disappointed because disappointment requires expectation. This is how emotional detachment begins in an unhappy marriage. Not with rebellion. With exhaustion. I still show up. I still do my duties. But something inside me has gone quiet. And that scares me. Because I know this version of me. She survives, but she doesn't feel alive. I don't have a plan. I'm not leaving today. I'm not chasing another man. I just want the pain to stop. I want to stop crying alone in my marriage. I want to stop feeling invisible in my own home. I want to stop feeling guilty for wanting love. If you're listening to this and it feels familiar, if you're a wife feeling lonely beside the man you married, if you cry at night and wipe your tears before morning, you're not crazy. You're not weak. You're not ungrateful. You're responding to emotional neglect. And your pain is real. I didn't wake up one day and decide to detach. There was no announcement inside me. No moment where I said, this is it, I'm done. It happened quietly. Like everything else in my marriage. One day I noticed I wasn't waiting anymore. I wasn't listening for his footsteps. I wasn't hoping he would notice my mood. I wasn't preparing myself for disappointment. And that scared me more than the crying ever did. Because crying meant I still wanted something. Detaching meant I was learning how to live without it. I used to lie in bed and feel my chest tighten when he turned away from me. I used to feel rejected every time his back faced mine. I used to wonder what I did wrong. Now I just turn to, not out of anger, out of self-preservation. This is what emotional detachment in an unhappy marriage really looks like. Not coldness, not bitterness, just exhaustion. There's a version of me that still shows up. I still do what needs to be done. I still take care of responsibilities. I still function as a wife. But inside I've started pulling back. I don't tell him everything anymore. Not because I'm hiding things, but because it hurts to share your inner world with someone who doesn't protect it. I don't bring up my feelings the way I used to. Not because I don't have them, but because explaining myself over and over made me feel small. Silence became easier than rejection. And slowly I stopped needing him emotionally. That's the part no one warns you about. You think detachment will feel like relief. But at first it feels like grief. Grief for what your marriage could have been. Grief for the woman you were when you still believed things would change. Grief for the love you gave freely and never got back in the same way. I still love my husband. I need to say that again because people don't understand. I love him. But love without care becomes heavy. Love without affection becomes lonely. Love without effort becomes painful. I didn't stop loving him. I stopped expecting him to love me the way I needed. And there's a difference. Some nights I lie awake and wonder if he even notices the distance growing between us. If he feels the silence the way I do. If he senses that I'm slowly disappearing. But then I remember all the times I tried to talk. All the times I cried. All the times I asked for connection. And I realize, maybe he noticed and it just didn't matter enough. That realization changes a woman. Being a lonely wife messes with your identity. You start questioning yourself. Am I still desirable? Am I still lovable? Am I asking for something unrealistic? You watch other couples and wonder what they have that you don't. You scroll past videos about love and feel something ache inside your chest. You hear people talk about marriage like it's safety and you feel exposed. Because your marriage doesn't feel safe emotionally. Feels like walking on eggshells. Feels like suppressing your needs to avoid tension. Feels like shrinking. And the worst part is, no one sees it. They see a married woman. They see stability. They don't see emotional neglect in marriage. They don't see how alone you feel next to the man you chose. I didn't want to think about leaving. That thought terrified me. Not because I don't crave peace, but because leaving feels like admitting failure. I think about my vows. I think about what people would say. I think about the life I built. And then I think about myself. How much of me is left? Because staying in a marriage without love slowly takes pieces of you. Not all at once, but enough that one day you don't recognize yourself. I'm not chasing another man. I'm not planning an escape. I'm just tired of surviving. And sometimes that's the most honest place a woman can be. There are nights when I imagine a different version of life. Not a perfect one. Just one where I feel seen. Where someone asks how I'm doing and actually listens. Where my presence is desired, not just tolerated. Where affection isn't something I have to earn. And then the guilt hits. Because I'm married. Because I should be grateful. Because wanting more feels selfish. But wanting emotional connection is not a crime. Wanting love from your husband is not weakness. Wanting to feel valued is not asking for too much. These are basic human needs. And denying them doesn't make you holy. It just makes you empty. I've noticed something else since I started detaching. The tears come less often. Not because the pain is gone, but because I've learned how to numb it. That's the dangerous part. Crying hurts, but numbness steals your joy quietly. I don't laugh the same way anymore. I don't get excited the same way. I don't feel deeply the way I used to. And sometimes I wonder if this is what staying costs. If this is the price of endurance. I look at my husband sometimes and feel a strange mix of love and distance. I wonder if he realizes how close he came to losing me emotionally. Or maybe he already has. Not physically, but emotionally. A woman can stay and still leave. She leaves in her heart first. She leaves in her expectations. She leaves in her hope. And by the time she actually walks away, she's already grieved the marriage. That's what emotional abandonment does. I don't hate my husband, but I hate how invisible I feel. I hate that I learned how to be strong instead of being cherished. I hate that I learned how to endure instead of being loved. I hate that my tears became routine. Marriage was never supposed to feel like this. And saying that doesn't make me ungrateful. It makes me honest. If you're listening to this and your chest feels heavy, if you're a wife who feels lonely even though you're married, if you're slowly detaching just to survive, I want you to know something. You're not broken. You're responding to emotional neglect. You're responding to being unseen. And your feelings matter. I don't have all the answers. I don't know yet whether staying or leaving is the right choice. But I do know this. You deserve more than silence. You deserve more than emotional abandonment. You deserve more than a marriage that only survives. Whether you heal within the marriage, or whether you eventually choose yourself, your pain is valid, and you are not alone. If this felt like your story, you're in the right place. This space exists for women who are tired of crying quietly, for wives who feel lonely, for women learning how to protect their hearts. You don't have to decide anything today. Just breathe. Just acknowledge the truth. Just know that your voice matters, even if it's quiet.